Oh, man, how y'all are? Welcome to the Moon Griffon Show. It is Friday Eve already, and I'm already feeling like the Allen kid for Duke. I'm getting kicked. Oh, and by the way, I like that player. I really like him a lot, but I remember getting kicked a few times, but he ought to play football if he wants to kick. What's wrong with that? Or soccer. Soccer, I'll tell you what. The one he saw last night, he's got a hell of a leg to kick a player running down the field. Anyway, 844-766-6607. Hickson has that hotline. Just a little programming note here tomorrow, and then we'll be gone until January 4th. And the people said, yeah. His ratings will skyrocket, I'm sure. Stevie P joined me from our sister station right here, ESPN. Well, Mr. Exhibition Game. All right. Stevie's been on a roll over there. I'm kind of laughing. I don't get to listen to him as much, but we do the banner in between. And first of all, good morning. Good
morning. How are you?
Good to see me again.
You got
good to see you.
You got all your Christmas shopping done for me yet?
Huh?
Got all your Christmas shopping done for me?
You know, I was supposed to go shopping this week. That's what that thing I had tied to my finger? That's what that was.
You know what I hate more than shopping, though? Is Christmas wrapping. And I'm awful. I'm one of the 10 worst Christmas wrappers of all time.
I bought.
I can't wrap a present
now.
out.
My wife's phone has been on the blink for like a year.
Right.
She would not go pay to buy one. So, Brandon, you're going to love this. Brandon, this is another marriage tip. So what I'm trying to show y'all.
Can they end when 2016
No.
in?
I'm trying to show y'all, if you don't have kids, you might not can get away with it. Stevie P can. I'm trying to show you how not to rap. You ready? So I wanted to get a phone for Christmas, but I wanted to go ahead and have it now.
Right.
So she'd have a phone.
Right.
And so I took it. I bought it from AT&T. In the bag they put it in, I took the receipt out, not that it mattered, and I rolled it up in the bag. And then, you know the Cane River pecan cans that I got? Well, we had eaten all the pecans, so I washed it and cleaned it out. And I just stuffed it in there, closed the can, gave it to the kids and said, and they went, hey, Mama, Merry Christmas. We're giving you an early Christmas present. So it came from the kids. So she never questioned how it was wrapped. It was wrapped in the bag that I got it in, put in the Cane River pecan can, and because it was from the kids, she loved it.
That's awesome.
So any present you give it from the kids.
That's right. That's right.
And if they come to you and say, why you didn't wrap this? It's present. So anyway, you see, Brandon, I saw you just kind of outthink a little bit. And guess what? My wife never asked about why you didn't wrap it. She was so happy to get it.
There you go.
All right, Stevie P, a lot of bowl games, and I'm not to talk to you about the exhibition games, but then again, we're going to probably mix it in. I wanted to bring you on because I'm watching, Leonard Fournette and some of the super studs in college.
Right.
I'm not playing another game. First of all, let me ask this question before I get to the big question. Would they say that if they were in the Final Four?
No, and they shouldn't.
Why?
Because
it's a ball game.
No, because those games mean something. The other games are exhibitions.
Let me get this straight. Brandon's over there laughing at me.
Have fun trying to
By the way,
reason with him.
Stevie P will fire back at me. That's what I like about
right.
it. Okay, so he has a high ankle sprinkle.
Yeah.
And if he gets torn up, and he can't go play in the pros, but he had to play in those championship games.
Right.
But he didn't have to play in the regular game. But either way, you lose your career. So what the hell's the difference?
Well,
because it's about protecting what's in the future.
Right.
So the best thing for him would be not to play in the championship.
But why would you risk that in an exhibition game as opposed to playing in a game that means something? It's kind of like
it doesn't mean anything to his future because his pro career it's screwed up.
But maybe he wants to win a national championship. See, Lane Kiffin.
Make a lot of money or win a national championship. Make money.
Lane Kiffin's the offensive coordinator for Alabama.
Correct.
He is coaching in the Final Four. I guarantee you, Lane Kiffin, if Alabama were not in the Final Four, if Alabama were in the Florida Citrus Bowl, Lane Kiffin would be concentrating on his duties right now with FAU, and he should be.
But here's the difference.
Because he don't want to coach in an exhibition game.
Lane Kiffin ain't gonna be hurt.
No, exactly.
But you see my point?
Yes.
If it's in a Final Four, I'm agreeing with you somewhat, but I'm thinking, okay, the decision was not made based on the team, your teammates, the school you play for.
Right.
It was based on your future.
Right.
So if I'm playing in the Final Four, I just go, I don't want to play in that. I got an NFL career to think about.
And I would have a problem with that. Because it's a real game.
No, but it's either way. I think it's a selfish decision. Your team, you play with, you went to. You see my point? If you're playing in the Final Four,
okay.
If you're playing in the Final Four, I see what you're saying, though.
Right.
I do see what you're saying. We got the Final Four, and I'm getting in the game, and I'm gonna play, and I might be national champions, but I ruined my ankle. But the decision he's based now is based on his selfishness. I'm not being ugly about it. I'm just saying it's based on me.
Right.
And the other decision would be, well, I'm going to base it on the team because I might get to play a national championship. But even if he didn't play, and LSU was in the Final Four and LSU won the national championship game, he'd still get his ring. He still would say, I played on that team. They're still going to remember Fournette.
Right.
But if he gets hurt, he loses his career, whether it's an exhibition game or a Final Four game.
If Drew Brees next year got hurt in the third preseason game, got a little dicked up. He had a little bit of an elbow issue, and he comes to the fourth preseason game, and Drew Brees would say, "I don't want to play in the fourth. I don't want to play in the fourth preseason game because I want to get ready for the season opener, and it might cost me some money, if I get hurt in the fourth preseason game and I don't reach my incentives or whatnot." Would you have a problem with Drew Brees not playing in the fourth preseason?
No,
Why not?
Because I think it's two different things.
No, I see. It all depends upon how you view the bowl game.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking that. Okay, let me throw another example at you. Mm-hmm. Let's say Florida. This is never going to happen, but let's say teams like LSU and Alabama. And you could say Michigan and Florida State, great example. They're playing in a bowl game.
Right.
And I don't even know the bowl games, by the way. There's so many of them, I forgot the names, all of them.
And I'm not anti-bowl games now.
I didn't say you were.
Right.
We're not even going there.
Right.
I'm just trying to I'm trying to get into the psyche of some of this. So
yeah, me too, because I don't understand it.
Well, that's the problem on this program.
People love exhibition.
We make the things that are not understandable understandable,
right.
and we make the things understandable not understandable. Right. Does that make sense? See, I screwed him up. What if Florida State and Michigan were the 5th and the 6th team, and they had a 14 playoffs, and they're really good, and they barely got missed, and basically Michigan did that. So they planned. And they got a lot of pro prospects on that team.
Yes.
And they played in the best bowl game you could possibly play in that's not in the Final Four.
Right.
By the way, if you're not in the Final Four, it's like, why have the other bowl games now? And all of a sudden, you got 22 kids not playing, 22 stars, because you got so many kids from each team,
right.
for 11 on each team. And they're going to play a bowl game that's on national TV that everybody's pumped up about, and all the best players are not playing.
Right.
That's what this is going to.
It would.
Would that really? Because remember, now, the bowl games are money to me.
Right.
That's it. There's really nothing. It's a reward for having a good year.
Right.
But you had a good year because all your guys played.
Right.
You didn't have a good year because these guys set out.
Right.
So what do you do in a situation? Because that's coming.
Yes.
22 may be a high number, but just what if? Okay.
I would give the little marks a handkerchief when they start crying.
But what if you have the Final Four and Fournette said, I'm not playing? And all of a sudden, name one of the guys on Alabama, Allen, great defensive lineman. I'm not playing. What if they did that? And you know what the teammates will do? I guarantee you they'll go, you know what? Do that, man. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
It's not even that important.
Yeah.
Man, go take care of your future because I think you're going to see that too one day.
Yeah.
And everybody's going to say, what a selfish pig. When they got a chance to win the national championship, but the guy goes, I've been banged up all year. I could get hurt. Now do you change your mind?
Yeah, I do. Because it means something.
You change your mind a kid. You change your mind. Change your mind about. You know what Stephen, let me ask this question. This is a serious question. What office are you running for?
No, I am changing my mind because, again, the Final Four means something. The Final Four means something. We remember who wins those games. Bowl games are for the fans. Bowl games are fun. Bowl games are rewards for the kids to go over there. And but who won the Sun Bowl last year?
I don't know.
Who won?
They got a Sun Bowl?
Yeah. I mean, who won?
I know.
Nobody remembers.
Who won the Sun Bowl?
Nobody remembers who wins those games.
Matter of fact, the only thing they'll win, you mentioned about the Final Four, really, I know Alabama won it last year. Mm-hmm. I'd have to sit here and think about who was in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I know it was Clemson because I remember the game, but I don't remember the other two teams.
Michigan State was in it as well last year.
And who was the other one?
Yeah, Alabama beat Michigan State, and Clemson beat
Oklahoma.
Yes, Oklahoma.
Okay, but you see, we had to really think about that, too.
Right.
And that was just last year.
Right. But I guarantee you, Nick Saban thinks the same way as me. Because the same thing Nick Saban told Lane Kiffin, he said, okay, congratulations on your acceptance of the job at FAU, but obviously you're staying here, you're running my offense here through the national championship.
I know, and one of the arguments would be, and Brandon made this off the air, was that if coaches can do it, why can't players
exactly.
do it? But I'm just telling you what this is going to lead to. It's going to lead to a very good bowl game that they got there because of all the players that played that are not going to play. You take LSU and Alabama. They're never going to play in a bowl game unless they're in the Final Four.
Right.
Okay? But they always got 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 kids going to the pros, and all of a sudden they're playing in, quote, an exhibition game, and all of a sudden the best players back out.
Yes.
of both teams.
But that wouldn't be an exhibition game. The Final Four is not exhibition.
No, I agree with that. But what I'm saying is you get a game that's like that.
Right.
With that much talent. You have 10, 12, 13 players. And it's almost like, why have the freaking bowl game? The guys that got you there are not even going to play. And that's what bothers me. It's not the decisions they're making now. It's the big picture up the road. We don't know where we're going with this.
Right. And here's another thing too, is that Oklahoma. What exhibition games is Oklahoma playing in? I don't even know. They're playing somebody. It would be 6 weeks by the time they played their last game and a bowl game. 6 weeks. If we do that in the middle of the season, everybody would be saying, "Wow, that's not good football." Because you know what? It's not going to be. I mean, you can't take off 6 weeks and then be good football.
You know what the problem with that is?
But everybody's going to put so much emphasis on it and say, "Oh man, they won their bowl game, so they're great."
By the way, they asked Saban about it, and when he was going to play against Florida, and he said, "There's never a time to lose." And he said, "Y'all focus so much on the national championship, y'all act like these other bowl games don't matter."
Yeah.
So to him, they mattered.
Wow.
Not a fact. I'm being polite when I disagree. I just wonder about the future of it. I guess that's my problem.
And that's going to be an issue. You're right there. That would be an issue.
That's why I'm messing with you.
You would have players who
stick around. One more segment. Stevie P, my good friend, and actually Brandon's friend. I barely know him. After he gets off this program, he's gonna tell me what office he's running for. We'll be right back. Hi, y'all. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Turning all sports now, folks. I think sports got more politics than politics.
Yeah.
TVP, ESPN, of course, our special guest, kind of going back over. Hey, the reason I wanted to keep you another few minutes, besides just I like looking at the way you talk and the way you have fun. You understand stuff like that. Forget all the bowl games. Let's go right to we got a Final Four now.
Yes.
And really, that's what a lot of people are concentrating on. Unless you have somebody in a bowl game. Just your thoughts on that. Ohio State, Clemson. It's funny. A few years ago, Ohio State won the inaugural college playoffs, and they beat Alabama.
Yeah.
And they weren't supposed to.
Right.
And then last year, Clemson and Alabama played, and I thought Clemson had them the whole game. Some kind of way, Saban and them found out to win that game.
Yeah.
So the matchup of Ohio State and Clemson. I know you've been talking about it. What do you think? Who you think is going to end up winning that?
There's something to be said for Clemson finding ways to win games, but they have been fortunate. I mean, there were a couple of instances. I mean, there was a game against Troy from the Sun Belt Conference early in the year where they way by 6 points. And
How about North Carolina
State missed the field goal.
And that wasn't a real strong team.
Yeah, exactly.
Florida State had them too.
Florida State had them, but they have found ways to win games. I think, though, from a talent standpoint, Deshaun Watson to the side, that I think Ohio State's a more talented football team, but even Ohio State has had a couple of scares, this year as well.
I think that's a toss-up only because of what you just said. If you look at the whole body of work for 13 games, both of those guys have had some bad moments.
No doubt.
And not just in one game, over several games.
Mm-hmm.
And so, Ohio State's really good. I just think Watson's going to get back in the championship. They played a lot of their weaker games earlier.
Right.
Ohio State played some of their weaker games toward the end.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I believe that Clemson will end up beating them. I just think Clemson is going to beat them. I don't know why. I'm thinking they'll rematch from last year.
Well, if Clemson comes out with orange jerseys and blue pants, they have zero chance. Just telling you. That's the other thing to look at is Ohio State looks much prettier. Prettier.
Whoever wears pink, we may be pulling for anyway. Okay, nobody gives Washington a chance. How would you like to be the coach of Washington? You get down with your players and you go, okay, the only people believe we're going to win is right here.
Yeah, he probably likes that.
Our fans and your parents don't think we're going to win. So guess what? Let's pull an upset. And I think they can. And now I believe Alabama's going to be favored to win and win the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're better coached than everybody, or as well as they got a lot of talent. And the defense don't give up anything, but Washington's good, and that could be the surprise team in the deal. I'm gonna be a little shocked if they win, but not totally.
I'm wrong about some things.
You're wrong about those. And people,
I'm right about that. But one of the things I was right about, Washington was one of my teams to make the Final Four before the year began, because I figured that they lost a lot of close games last year. They were, I think, 7-5, and 4 losses came by less than 5 points. They had a large contingent of players coming back. And somebody had to win the Pac-12, and that turned out to be Washington. Chris Peterson, an outstanding coach. He's the former coach at Boise State.
Very creative.
He's very creative, which you have to be against Alabama. I don't think they're as talented as Alabama, but again, his creativity, could play a big part in the game. I give him a chance. I mean, I think Alabama's going to win.
If I was betting, I'd put my house and everything on Alabama.
Yes.
I would. I mean,
right.
I'm just saying that, but that's the scary game for Saban, as far as I'm concerned. But now he's had 3 weeks. When that guy prepares for you for 2 or 3 weeks, I don't like your chances.
No, but on the other hand, they could come out a little sluggish. We'll see. I mean, it's a different type of Alabama team in that they don't just run it down your throats in between the tackles anymore. With Jalen Hurts, he's a little bit more of a running quarterback. They spread it out a little bit more.
I noticed that when teams play them close in the first half, and by the end of the third quarter, they're gone. And because that team just keeps going and going and going and going, and they've got 3 running backs, and all of them are good. The quarterback can run. He throws the ball. People talk about his throwing. At times, he throws the ball really well, and he's got a bunch of great receivers.
Yes.
Tight end Howard, Ridley, and Stewart. Those guys are all pro players.
Yes.
They're all going to the next level. And then the offensive line, and I'm not even going to tell you about the defense because I don't have to.
It's just phenomenal.
Well, they didn't give up a touchdown for like 42 days.
It's unbelievable.
6 weeks.
It's unbelievable. But, I mean, the other guys are good too. We talk about it all the time. I hear all this silliness every year. Oh, well, Alabama could play in the NFL and all that silly stuff.
They get beat by every
team. Yeah, they crushed like a bug is what would happen. But
they would make the Cleveland Browns look good.
Yeah, I mean, all it takes is a couple of turnovers and gives the team a little momentum, a little bit of confidence. So, do I think that Washington has a chance? Yeah, but I would say Alabama 10 to 14 points.
Yeah, it's no doubt I think Alabama has to lay it on the ground 3 or 4 times.
No doubt.
And Washington can't do that 3 or 4 times.
No. So I like Alabama and Ohio State in the title game, and I like Alabama, unfortunately, to win it all.
You wearing red? That's crimson, ain't it? Oh, that's Cajun. I'm sorry.
No, that's
Brandon
not.
got red.
That's not the.
Brandon got red.
What happened yesterday? What happened 10 years ago yesterday?
It was the day before yesterday.
10 years ago yesterday was the day that Nick Saban said, I am not going to be the Alabama coach. And what was it? 3 days later, he became the Alabama coach. Okay. Because Alabama wanted Rich Rodriguez.
You ready for this? I'm not going to be a millionaire. I'm not going to be a millionaire. Stevie P, God bless, brother. Merry Christmas.
It's been your pleasure. Merry Christmas.
Right back, folks, right after this. Oh, yeah. How y'all all? Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Hickson has it hotline. Hey, Brandon, we jump on a little football and bowl games because I'm sure the men are going that like football. Yes. And the women are going, again? Another one? So they all understand bowl games.
So what, would y'all rather hear about John Bell Edwards?
I can make a football analogy of that, too.
Oh, but remember, we thought LSU football might not be around and when Governor John Bell Edwards spoke a few months ago.
Oh, remember that? Oh, man, we weren't even going to have football with the bad budget. Remember that? How did that go? 844-7, good point. 844-766-6607. Hickson has it hotline. By the way, North Carolina, who had they made a big deal. The press really caved in North Carolina because of the LGBT stuff. And so they met yesterday, and guess what? The deal to undo the North Carolina law known as bathroom bill fell apart again. I'm proud of them because this law did nothing to hurt one person. It did nothing. It required transgender people to use restrooms in many public buildings corresponding to the sex of their birth certificates. By the way, that's not just for transgenders. That's for you and me. That is so simple. That is so unbiased. That is so unhateful. That's the loving way to do it. And yet they lost the NCAA tournament. They lost the ACC tournament. They lost the NBA All-Star game for doing what's right. Opponents of the law call it discriminatory. You're discriminating against who? How you were born. That's who you are. Well, some people, I don't care what some people say or do. That's who you are. You got all these transgender people that's not even going the whole way. So they want to, it's sad. This is a safety. The Republicans that have done this, it's a safety net by keeping men out of women's restroom. Folks, back in the day, this is common sense. This is the moral thing to do. It's the right thing to do. It's the most godly thing to do, the most Christian thing to do is to tell people you go in the men's bathroom if you're a man, you go in the girls' bathroom if you're a girl. It's that simple. North Carolina did it right, and they're being penalized by the world and the stupid society that we're evolving into, that we got to sit here and argue, who goes in whose bathrooms? Well, I feel like a woman today. It don't mean you can go in a woman's bathroom. It doesn't mean that. So they have done the right thing, and yet they're getting blistered by the negative leftist satanic press. And that's what they are. You got to be a little satanic to even believe that this is wrong. And so yesterday they said, the heck with it. We're going to stick to our law. It's a safety. It's a safety thing for my kids, my special need child. I'd argue that all day long. And all it says is, however you're born, that's the bathroom you go in. And that is a smart, biblical, moral way to address this. But not to the left. Because the left has they have their morals, they have no morals. They have no morals because they don't even know who God is. The left is crazy. And we're buying into it. See what I saw in Maryland? You ought to see this, Brandon, Maryland University. Maryland University has a student council. And the student council has a lot of requests for the university. They must have students at the University of Maryland who have released a list of 64 demands. The students are demanding stuff from the university in an effort to make their campus more amenable. They are making it to where Muslim students want one room in each major building. Brandon, can you imagine the buildings at UL or LSU or whatever? Every one of them got to have a prayer room for Muslims. They got to have something special for American Indians, blacks, Latinos, LGBTQIA. What the heck's the QIA now? I don't even want to know.
Wait, okay, are you making up the IA or let me
read
see
the thing for yourself?
What?
I ain't making it up.
I don't know what the IA means.
What is the Q?
I know what the Q means.
All right, what's the
IA?
IA?
You know what the Q means. I don't know what the IA means.
Ignorant adults.
No.
Plus Muslims, pro-Palestinian, undocumented students. We got to set up something special. Check this out. They designed the prayer rooms and shuttle services to the local mosque for Muslim students to have access to a place of worship. 64 demands by the students. Now, you think we lost our minds? I don't understand. All these people that want these demands, go try another country.
I know it. Now I found what it means. All right. So the I and the A means intersex and asexual communities.
Oh, my God. Pretty soon it's going to be the LGBT. QIA, MUSLIM, PROPALISTIN, and undocumented students. They're telling and listen, I look for Maryland University to back down and let them do it. And here's what needs to happen in Maryland if they do this. Every parent at that school, or as many of them that got any sense, pull your kids out of school. I don't know what Maryland's, Brandon, maybe you can pull up Maryland's university. I don't know if they have 10,000 students or 40,000 students. I don't know. But just think if they had 20,000 students, okay? And 20,000 students said we're not coming to your school next year. What would happen?
38,140.
Okay. 38,000. What if 20,000 students said, parents said, my kids aren't going there anymore for this kind of craziness? Guess what happens? The school would fold, fall down, be done with. And that's what has to happen. I saw it happen with Trump. People have to stand up. It makes no sense. None whatsoever. The bathroom issue is no sense. And now look at these demands. The LGBT, QIA, MUSL, MIMOUSE. Golly. Well, I mean, what are you going to do? LGBTQIA, MOUSE, LG. I mean, come on. Gee whiz. Poor Mickey Mouse. All right, let's go to Cornelius in Alexandria. Cornelius, what's happening?
What's happening, Boone? And Big Brand the handler, boy.
Brandon, you know why Brandon's laughing, huh? This is the first time he's been in the studio with me in about 2 weeks.
But look, I want.
And Cornelius, you know what he told me? He told me after the day and tomorrow he needs 2 more week break, but he's sending me off this time.
Oh, man. But anyway, all the callers and listeners, I wish y'all have a Merry Christmas and everything. We'll miss you next week, Moon, but like I said, Big Brad the handler, and Carol Ross, the big bad boss, will be in, so we'll rock and roll next week, too. But I wanted to bring up something. I've been a big Trump supporter. I happen to be African-American. I had a text message that says, I hate you, and I had a screw put in my tire. So I can understand what those electors were going through. I didn't tell you that yesterday, but so that's some of the stuff I'm going through. So,
well, I got to tell you, I wish only somebody told me they hate me every night. I can show you my email and teach you new ways to put your head in different places. So I know. All right, Cornelius, God bless. Thanks. Appreciate the call. Let's move on. John in Forest Hill. How you doing, Mr. John?
Okay, man. Look, I don't know how long it's been since you or Brandon or anybody, y'all just shot any fireworks. It's been about 40 years for me. But I'm going to consider January the 20th next year an early Independence Day. And so I'd like to encourage everybody to go out while we can and buy all the fireworks you can afford and you think you might want to shoot and save them in a good, safe place until the 20th.
Okay.
And then shoot them.
Okay. Sound like a winner, man.
Okay. All right, man. That was it.
All right, brother. Merry Christmas, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline if you'd like to be part of the program. Well, it's just kind of, just think of the bathrooms. Just blows my mind, the common sense. And in Maryland, being told, man, we're going to make special things for everybody. By the way, I don't see nothing about no white people in there. Don't see anything about women. Shuttle services to get them to the local mosque. Is that not cool? All on the back of the taxpayers. So let's see if there was anything. Muslim students also want one room in each major building. Among the pro-Palestine demands, students want the administration to condemn the completion of Oh, God. They want them now to go be real political. God have mercy. Anyway, that's what's going on, folks, in your universities. Let's go to James in Lafayette. How you doing, James?
Good morning to y'all, fellas. James out of Lafayette. Just first, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays.
Yes, sir.
Everybody.
You too.
And, look, just want to make a quick comment, man, about the transgender bathrooms. All I wanted to really say about it is I get everybody's standpoint, and I understand where everybody's coming from. I understand common sense seems to dictate, but I want to just throw a little bit of a wrench and say that if anybody, speaking on it, had a child that was transgender, I think the tone would be a little bit different, and I have no problem with anybody, especially you, speaking your opinion, but let it be your opinion. Do not back it up by Christian backing, because there is no foundation for Christian backing on it. I am a Christian. I have served my country, and I am neither gay, transgender, or any of the above. But if a man...
Let me tell you something. Listen, that may be fine. I talk to people that kids have done stuff. There's a lot of reports out there about the mental aspect of people wanting to change, and that's the tough part. And as far as not being backed up by biblical, I do not want a man, I don't care if he changed or not, that's his decision. That's not God's decision. God don't make us to do that. Now, you can be Christian. I'm Christian too. But I'm telling you, you can't find where people change and flip their sex. I'm telling you, there's a lot of mental stuff involved in this. Nobody wants to be honest. There's a lot of mental. There are reports out there with people that have studied people like this. And I think we're making a bad mistake. Let me tell you what we're doing. When we do what they're saying we ought to do, where anybody can go in any bathroom, we're making we're actually egging this on. We're acting like this is something that happens all the time. And I'm just telling you, we better be careful here. This is something you're not going to put the genie back in the bottle on this one.
I'm with you 100%. I'm with you on the fact of there's mental aspects, and I agree with all that. What I am saying is you can't found it on Christian values because it is not dictated or talked about anywhere in the Bible. Jesus, his whole time spent on this earth, never mentioned, if it was such a big deal, why did he not mention
it? Wasn't. That's the first of all, it wasn't a big deal back then, and it wouldn't be a big deal back now. The reason for that is it's very plain. Sex is talked about a lot in the Bible. It is. Go read it. Go read the part in Romans. And I don't want to get into the big Christian deal. Go read in Romans.
I'm asking just politely, just make sure that you're stating it's your opinion and it's your dictation
It's not just my opinion. And you can go ask any real pastor. The problem is it comes from the heart. And the problem also is some of this stuff is some mental stuff that's going on for somebody who want to be a man or be a woman.
Well,
you can talk to, I know there's some people I know that have the problem, and the parents have the problem too. What they do is they love the one they help bring in here, and they ought to keep loving the one they help bring in here. But I don't think you should say that you can't go to the Bible and find out about this. I just think you'd be wrong on that. Anyway, I got to run, James. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it, brother. But my opinion doesn't even really matter in this. The common sense does, but the rest of it doesn't. All right, we got to take a break. 844-766-6607. Hickson has it hotline. You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show. Oh, yeah. Mickey Mouse, Mickey Mouse. Hi, y'all. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Hickson has it hotline. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year from the Moon Griffon family and show, and we do appreciate everybody. It's been a wild year. The last 3 years I was telling it to Brandon off the air, that the last 3 years we've had 3 wild political years, watching Landrieu get stomped. Then we had the governor's race. Vitter got beat. We got Bell Edwards didn't win, but they keep thinking they won. He's a one-term governor. And then this year, the presidential race and Senate race and congressional race. And the last 2 Christmas time off, I probably enjoyed more than I ever have. And this is going to be one I hope it's like that as well, just from getting a break from all the craziness that's going on. Of course, we'll crank back up. They're going to be wanting to raise mega taxes, so we'll be back at it starting on January 4th. And I won't be wrong on that, what they're doing. And I'm watching every Republican vote. That's the ones we need to find a way to beat in 3 years. I mean, and beat them bad and beat a bunch of them. And then you send a message, because they're going to raise your taxes. They're going to raise it right in your face and smile at you when they raise them. So it's coming, and I just hope to God we can stop them, because it's not fair to do that to the people in Louisiana at this point. We're just not there right now. You know, we're not going to tax our way to prosperity. I don't care what they say. So anyway, let's go to the phone lines. Mr. Dale in DeVille, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Moon. How you doing today?
Man, I am hanging in there despite me, sir.
There you go. Well, great deal. Well, listen, I'll just be short and brief, buddy. I just got through hearing your last caller talk about us being sensitive to, to all these other folks, and I agree with that. But he says that God's word doesn't say anything about that. He's totally wrong. He needs to go read about Sodom and Gomorrah and learn what God said about that and how God dealt with that. Yes, we are to be sensitive, and I think we should be, but however, we shouldn't approach that as just something that's normal, because it's not in God's word.
Well,
so,
Dale, here's the thing, though, Dale. I didn't make a judgment on anybody. He wanted me to say, well, it's my opinion. Forget my opinion. This doesn't make any sense from Scripture. It doesn't make any sense from common sense. I got a special need daughter. I'm sitting in the bathroom, and the man's supposed, come on, man, this is way beyond that. It's way deeper than what my opinion is. And as far as me, I treat everybody the same. I'm not going to treat somebody because they don't think like me, talk like me, look like me. In most instances, that's pretty good. That's probably a good thing. So I'm told to treat everybody with love and respect, and I do, but I'm not going to give in on my laws and give in on the ways I believe because somebody comes along and want to do things totally opposite of what should be done.
Right, exactly. Well, we have a standard, and it's God's word, and the thing is, do we accept God's standard or do we deny God's standard? And that's, we can say whatever we want to say. We can make excuses or whatever else, but God's standards is God's standards, whether we like it or not, or whether we want to live by it or not.
Well,
He gives us free will.
Yeah. Yep. Well, basically what you're saying, we can live anyway and do anything we want to. We also will be rewarded or suffer the consequences because of that too. That's in anything we do, though. That's in everything. That's me, you, the gentleman that called, or somebody living something else. God knows I'm not perfect. I'm not judging heaven and hell. It's not my job. That's not my job.
Right. Mine neither. But, hey, listen, I appreciate your time. Thank you for letting me say hello.
All right. Thank you, Dale. Appreciate the call. Let's move on. We go to Rain, Louisiana, home of the Frog Festival. We go to Michael. Michael, how you doing? Ribbit. That was Merry Christmas and Frog Talk. That's Merry Christmas and Frog Talk, brother.
I'm blessed, Moon, man. That your previous caller, man, he just basically said what I wanted to say. So there's not too much more that I can say, but just that we have to stand on God's word, man. It's just, he said that we was all created with a free will, but we don't hate them, we love them. We just hate the sin that
the problem. This is the problem. This is the problem. We're getting ready to have to take a break, Brandon. But this is the problem because I disagree. All of a sudden, I'm hating. No, sir, I'm not hating anybody. And that's what the left wants everybody to do. Just like in North Carolina, they pulling money from them like the NBA All-Star and all that stuff. The law that they pass is so simple. You go to the bathroom however you were born. What's wrong with that? That's not a hate law. That goes for me, you, Brandon, and anybody else for that matter. So anyway, it's crazy out there, folks. Try to keep it between the ditches. That's all you can do. God bless. All right, we'll take a quick break. More to come. Moon Griffon Show. 1 more hour to go. We'll be right back. Boy, you could get deep in that, but we will pass up. How about that? Anyway.
Ooh, let's avoid giving our listeners that mental image, please. That's our Christmas gift to them.
I'm not going to say that. All right, yeah. When I don't say Merry Christmas. All right, how y'all are? Welcome back, Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Hickson has it. Hotline, GOP, the Hill, considering holding off on repealing the Obamacare taxes. It's taxes. Congressional Republicans considering holding off on repealing some of Obamacare's taxes, according to the lobbyists familiar with the discussion. GOP lawmakers on the House Ways and Means discussed the possibility of keeping some of the taxes in place during a retreat last week at the Library of Congress. Let me just say this. If they don't repeal it, they're done. They don't get rid of this. This is how you repeal it. You get rid of it, okay? And it's not necessarily replacing it with anything. It's just where do we go next? So people you have to, like, where do I go? People like me that's in the situation I am, with so much money for health care is ridiculous because if you talk to people in the business, and I sat down with insurance people, and they said, this can't keep going. This is going to destroy everybody. It's going to get to businesses, too, sooner or later. But Republicans don't need to release stuff like, well, we're considering holding off and repealing Obamacare taxes. No, that's part of the problem. You repeal them all. It's a problem, and it's a devastation. But what happens in all socialized programs like this is, this is worse. This program was designed to destroy the healthcare system, where the government can take it over. Everybody has to remember, Obama didn't design this to help people. He designed it to control people. Let me say it again. The left didn't design Obamacare to help people. I don't care if you're getting helped. He designed it to control and destroy the system that we presently have. So they designed the system not to help people, but to control people. Obamacare is a control situation. Remember the left. They want to control. They want to control everything about your life except dope, how drunk you get, and how many abortions you have. You can do that as many times as you want to. Everything else they're going to control. That's what they do. If you look at all the policies, Obamacare was not meant to help people. It's meant to control people. Climate change, global warming hoax, not to help people. No. Control people. Think about every policy they want. Okay? They hate oil and gas. Why? Because they want to control people by making you go to something they use and make your life miserable. That's Democrats. That's what the left does. Some Republicans are like that too, by the way. So they're never trying to help people, always trying to control people. Inner cities. What policies have they done to help inner cities? None. That's why the inner cities keep getting worse and worse and worse and worse, because their policies don't help people. They control them. They control them. They keep them in a situation, and on election day, all you got to do is remember, hate Republicans. They're racists, bigots, homophobes, and you need to hate them. That's it. It's that simple. You know, the borders, they don't control the borders. They won't control the country. So if you leave open borders and get people in here who aren't citizens and let them vote, you can control them because you'll give them a few benefits. Remember, their policies don't help people. It's to control people, to own them. It's a slave mentality. Democrats have a slave mentality. Obama has a slave mentality. Hillary Clinton, all of them. It's a slave mentality. They don't call it slavery. No, they blame that on Republicans. But it is a control mentality. It's not to help people. It's to control people. And that's what all these horrible dictators in Venezuela and Cuba and Russia and Iran and Iraq and all this, they dictators telling you what to do, what you can and can't do. There's no freedom with them. There's no free speech. It's like we're pro-choice. No. It's pro-death. Pro-life is what we ought to be after, not pro-death. But that's what the left does. They're the most unprincipled, unbiblical, unscriptured people in the world. That's who they are. That's why you come up with Obamacare. Not to help people, control people. Climate change, border, debt. You know what debt's going to do? Control me and you. They're going to get where we can't move. Interest rates going to go so high. We're trying to pay back all this debt Obama ran up 2.5 times that President Bush did. He thought it was unpatriotic, unconstitutional, whatever it was. He did it worse. Brandon, I saw a thing in USA Today that was saying what they're going to remember him on. One thing they said Obamacare. You know the second thing they said? How he saved the economy. How he saved the economy. He had to spend $10 trillion in debt to keep it alive. How you saved the economy. How unemployment went down, which is another lie. 15 million people not working. They want to get the minimum wage up so people can make something. More people working part-time jobs, 2 part-time jobs. That's what the people claim he did because they were never told the truth. It's incredible. All right, let's take phone calls. Let's go to Monroe, my former hometown. Bob, how you doing, sir?
All right, Moon. Merry Christmas to all of y'all.
Yes, sir.
And just a quick comment. Back in the governor's election, one of the governor's campaigns was, I'm a Christian and I'm against abortion, but he has proved positive that you don't vote for a person anymore, you vote for a party platform. And he has proven that to a T because he supports every platform the Democratic Party stands for.
Yep.
And I think people need to know that when the next time this comes up, because higher taxes, rights for people groups that they just make up a different group. I don't know what's in his heart, and I'm sure if he says he's a Christian, he is, but he certainly is holding the line on the Democratic Party platform.
He is. Listen,
something people need to think about when they talk about I'm voting for a person. But
he voted.
They're voting for a party.
Yeah, he's a liberal Democrat who supported Obama, who supported Hillary, who supported Mary Landrieu. The fact of the matter is his policies of gigantic taxes that we're watching. Look, he's a one-termer. I mean, I'm just telling you, he's a one-termer. All you got to do is have one decent candidate to run. He's a one-termer. There's no way people are going to vote for this again. If they do, we're crazy.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, look, again, y'all have a Merry Christmas, and I appreciate the time.
Yeah. All right, thanks for the call. By the way, Brandon, just for the fun of it, John Kennedy, our state treasurer until January 3rd, put out another article. You ready? We continue to have a spending problem. See, that's why I want this position to be for somebody who's got the guts to continue to talk about what I'm talking about. It's a spending problem. It's a spending problem. John Kennedy starts, if your car breaks down every month, eventually you're going to do one or two things. You're going to get a new mechanic or a new car. The Louisiana state budget is like a car that breaks down on a regular basis for some time. Now, every December or January, a huge shortfall emerges that has to be fixed. If you have a kid on TOPS, then you're already suffering the consequences of the state's inability to manage their money. You just wrote a fat check for your kid tuition because the state came up short. Merry Christmas to you. So it's no huge surprise the state has yet another deficit, $600 million this time. It's obvious that we need to make changes, starting with eliminating the hypocrisy from state budgeting process. He says the real question is how the world does the state not have enough money? Taxes are sky high after the largest tax increase in Louisiana history. The state's not really paying for top scholarship. Parents are. And in November, state revenue was up 27% over last year. Did y'all hear what I said? John Kennedy said state revenue's up 27% from last year, and that's why I'm telling y'all what they're telling y'all about the budget and the cuts and all the crying, and they got to raise all these taxes is ludicrous. It's 27% from last November to this November. 27% higher, and it's not enough because it's never going to be enough because they don't address spending. We got money to fix roads. We don't need a road tax. Anyway, let me see if this is not too long. It may be too long to do the whole thing. He just goes on to say the state isn't hitting the mark on how much money we can expect. Basically, we're being too optimistic about how much money the state is going to bring in. We're being too optimistic year after year. You'd think we get the idea eventually that we're not going to find an oil field underneath the state capitol every other week. Second, the state spend money like crazy. New cars are purchased. Pay raises are given. Not to the worker bees, mind you, but to the brass. More people are added to Medicaid. By the way, John Bel Air was yesterday on his program. I got to listen to a few minutes. I can't hardly listen to it, but that's just me. And he said, Medicaid, this is really, really helping us. What's this costing us money? This ain't free. He said, the truth is the state is simply not living within its means. It's spending more than it takes in. Now, remember, John Kennedy just got elected to the Senate being a tough Republican on spending. And you watch these weak, wuss-minded Republicans, what they're going to do this spring. And we will point them out, and we will have their voting record. And, yeah, we're going to point them out. We're going to bring up every one of them. Every one of them every day we can. Okay? Because then you need to know. So we're up 27%. He says the division's budget was $147 million in 2005, okay, and now stands at $395 million. That's a $240 million increase, or 169% increase over 12 years. That's 14% increase per year. Has your income gone up 14% each year for the last 12 years? In case you're wondering, the Department of Treasury's budget increased only 2.6% annually over the same period. Anyway, a lot of good stuff here, folks. Told y'all I was right. But you watch Edwards and Jay Darden and gang. Raise taxes. Great. What's his name? It's John. What's his last name? Alario? Been there 40-something years. Ain't got it right yet. We'll take a break. Be right back. Oh, yeah. Hi, hello. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. From the Moon Griffon Show. Open line for you, 844-766-6607. It is a Hickson Hazard Hotline, and you can be, part of the program, but no problem. I'm not going to say what else I said out there. Some things are better unsaid. Brandon's very appreciative. Anyway, to wrap up this, Kennedy goes on to talk about the division's administration's budget's up 169% over 12 years, 14% growth every year. Pew Research Center, he says, tells the real wages, income with inflation factors have largely been flat for 20 years here. That's why you don't raise taxes. He goes on to say, I'll wrap it up with this. Instead of the state relying on foolish tricks and gimmicks to limp along, the state cuts higher education to the bone but allows health care costs to balloon. The legislature gives lip service to reducing consulting contracts but refuses to pass a bill to allow the legislature to reject them. More often than not, the top brass gets pay raise or forcing our rank-and-file state workers to get by with the same paycheck every year. Division Administration, which handles the budget for the governor, can't even cut its own budget. We can do better. We must do better. Our taxpayers deserve it. We can't keep driving a car that breaks down every Monday. I thought this was a darn good shot by Kennedy. Kennedy won being tough on the fiscal matters. He just sent the word to the legislature. You can do it. If you have the guts to do it. Okay? If you have the guts to do it. But I don't know if they have the guts to do it. I mean, I've been doing this for 23 years, I think. I've been watching the same argument go each and every time, and John Hilario's been right there and ain't fixed a thing. I'm just warning you, folks. How many of you people think? Oh, I know there was something else I wanted to mention. You know, with watching what the ISIS and Islam and Muslims and what they're doing around the world with the killings, the blow-ups, and anything they can to disrupt things. Churches in our state, and in the states that are listening to us, I noticed something, and I think it's a very good thing. A lot of them now have security in their churches. Brandon, I don't know if the church you go to, they have that, but I know in ours, I know the one in Monroe used to have it, in the churches that I've been involved, they're gearing up. And I think it's smart. Mm-hmm. Why don't they just depend on God? They do, trust me. Sure they do.
God also gives us wisdom to use as well.
Well, I mean, I think the congregation should be some other armed people in the churches that they're not even on a security detail, because the church can vet everybody that's supposed to have a gun. I just think you may have to have that. Somebody said, well, what would happen if somebody came in your building and started shooting? Well, I hope they get shot. But number two, it'd be like a gunfight at the OK Corral, but that's okay too, because at least some of the good guys will have the guns. You know, I remember the white guy that got into the black church. I think he killed 9. Somebody had a gun and blew him away. Man, and I got but 3. Well, see, there you go, Griffon. It still killed 3. Yeah, it wouldn't have killed 9. And so I'm just wondering, in your churches, without mentioning names, are the churches preparing, spiritually speaking and physically speaking? Because I'm seeing more security, and I'm glad to see it. Because I'm going to tell you what, you got a lot more people hate Christians in the church than they hate anything else. For no reason at all, by the way. But they do. That's just the good versus evil. So we're not going to go into church and shoot anybody if they worship in Satan or some other religion. But they might come in ours. And it's just like we didn't protest Obama winning. I mean, my gut had hold of it since he won. But Trump wins, and all they do is trip out ever since he ran, and any Republican, Bush was illegitimate. I mean, it's all this stuff they do. So I'm just wondering, maybe pastors can help us too. Is this happening at your church? And by the way, I'm for it. Brandon, I'm for it. I'm sorry. I'm probably not going to church with a gun, but if I was asked to bring my gun and hide it, I would. So we got another break? Already?
Already.
I didn't get to go to phone calls. I guess I should have shut up. Is that what you're telling me? I wouldn't. Tomorrow's payday. And it's your favorite day of the work week, Friday. By the way, I'm looking forward to this Friday. I wonder why. All right, take a quick break. Merry Christmas. And we figured we'd play these songs instead of me singing them.
That's a heck of a lot.
Brandon made that decision really quick. Woo! How y'all are? Welcome back. And it's not Friday. By the way,
it feels like it, though.
I don't know why I'm happy to be looking at Friday so much. I'm feeling like Brandon all of a sudden.
You should.
I flipped it, man. It's called psyching yourself out on Mondays. I got it. No depression. All right, 844-766-6607, Hickson has hotline. I do want to say happy birthday. I work out with this gentleman. You know, you meet so many fine people, and I get to meet some of the best. And this gentleman right here is a great guy, Mr. Glenn Vilch, and it's his birthday today. That's funny, right before Christmas Day. Mr. Glenn Vilch is, he told me he was 62. And if anybody knows Mr. Glenn Vilch, I don't know if he looked 62. If he's 62, he's the oldest 62-year-old man I've ever seen. But he said 62. Who am I to complain? Who am I to argue with him? But anyway, Glenn, appreciate it, brother. And you may see me still working out. I'm not going anywhere for vacation. I'm just going to hang out and spend time with kids and mama. And I'm sure I'll have a honeydew or two.
Oh, yeah.
But if I can hook that boat up, it can be hard to find. Hey, they're not getting out to bed early. All I got to do is be gone before daylight, and I'm in good shape.
All right, if you got your choice, where you going? The Atchafalaya? Where you going?
I don't know yet. Henderson Swamp, I've been catching some pretty fish in there, and it looks really muddy now. Don't mean you can't catch them. It's just cold, muddy water's a little bit changed. But heard about some new places I'm going to check out. Probably make me a saltwater trip, catch a few reds. I got a couple bass trips. I'm not going to release the lakes yet because I'm going to go check them out before I tell you I'm going to somewhere. But there's a couple other lakes south of here that I want to go look at. So hoping Monday and Tuesday I can go. I actually want to go today and tomorrow, but dang work keeps getting in the way. Mm-hmm. So anyway, and I am going to go to Shucks Friday for lunch. I'm going to pick up some oysters. So I want to go eat some oysters. So while I'm there, I may as well eat, right? I mean, you don't blame a man for going that far and not eat.
As someone who's eating right now, I agree.
Yeah, Brandon's over there picking out every day during the holidays. They're bringing something up here to eat. I got a lunch and I'll be eating with you. All right, let's move on. Amy and Alec. Zandria, how you doing, Amy?
Well, Moon, I'm doing great. The weather is beautiful right now, but the man from DeVille stole my thunder.
What is that?
The people that say that there's nothing about homosexuality in the Bible, they need to read the story of Sodom and Gomorrah.
Yeah.
I've been all over Europe, and the women's bathrooms have attendants in them. The men's bathrooms have attendants in them. Mm-hmm. Attendants that if you need something or to keep trouble out or someone from coming in the wrong bathroom. I happen to be a dyed-in-the-wool Republican whose mother was a dyed-in-the-wool Democrat. Mm-hmm. Democrats are always right. But I can see both sides of it, but I'm still a Republican. But I have a gay son, and I raised him, and he didn't know he was gay. He had been sexually molested by my husband's best friend as a 3-year-old.
By the way, you may know this, Amy, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, okay? There's been I got to get the study, and you may have seen it already, where if you look at, there was a big percentage of people who were gay because of something that happened to them in their past. And I've heard this story over and over and over and over again, and it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart. Yes, and this is the thing that broke the camel's back with him. And when he told us, he recounted that story. Yeah. And he thought we knew about it. But the thing about it is, he says, I'm not a gay person. I was raised to be a man. Mm-hmm. And he is. And I think he would be appalled to go in a women's bathroom. Yeah. And I don't doubt, by the way, I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that. There's no way in the world that any normal thinking person who would care about anybody else would go in there to make a show, to make a statement. Going to the bathroom is not making a statement. Come on. I agree. The people who were from Sodom and Gomorrah came to Lot, and they had seen a man go in his house. Send him out so we can make him welcome, Come on. And Lot said, no, he hit the man because that was not the way that his God said to do things. Yeah. Well, I just know this. People say it's not in the Bible. It is in the Bible if you know how to read the Bible. Well, I'm just going to say this. Look, it's not to make judgment on anybody. It's just a fact. It's just a fact. You can sit here and buy all that. We have to live with. That's right. But you can't buy all the crap that they. Some of them feed out to make themselves feel less guilty. I know. It is that. But like I said, some of it's in between the ears too, and you can't argue with people. So I'm not going to argue with them, but I don't have to give in as something that I know is wrong is right. You don't have to give up. No, absolutely not. Anyway, I don't have to give up my right. No, I will never. And if they come in, I go out. Yeah. All right. Thank you. God bless. Have a Merry Christmas. 844-766-6607. Steve in the big town of Crowley, Louisiana. I guess maybe it was too big for the Moon Griffon show. Maybe that's what it was. All right. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline. If you'd like to be part of the program, it's your opportunity to be a voice. By the way, John Bell Edwards says the court was wrong to throw out the LGBT executive order. They weren't wrong, Mr. Governor. That's the second time you got it handed to you. Nobody needs special rights. Okay? The percentage of people doing this is not even that much. Nobody needs any special rights. I'm not cutting anybody. And I don't need them, you don't need them. Same laws we all live under. Jeff Landry has beaten him not once, but twice now in the court, a law on this stuff, and we are not even having this conversation. Matter of fact, when I looked up on Fox a while ago, they were talking about the North Carolina situation. By the way, White House says 6.4 million have enrolled in Obamacare this year. Yeah, Brian, you know why? It's the last year that Obama's going to be around, and if Obamacare goes, so they're enrolling as many as they can. That don't mean they're paying the premiums. I'd like to know out of all the people enrolled, how many of them kept paying the premiums that continue to skyrocket? That would be the real question, because you know we're getting bogus numbers out the White House. Everything else he says is bogus. Let's go to Catherine from North Carolina. Catherine, how you doing?
I'm well, Moon. How are you today?
Doing great. Good to hear from you. Now, you really from North Carolina?
I am from North Carolina. I'm down for the holidays. I used to live in Louisiana, but home is North Carolina.
Okay, good.
And I'm listening to, because you know that Pat McCrory, what we had going on in North Carolina, and this is really not somebody talked about this being your opinion. It's really not an opinion. This is not politics. It's not liberal. Everyone in North Carolina is against the transgender bathrooms. Mm-hmm. Everybody. Mm-hmm. And we feel like our governor did the right thing, and he was snowballed in North Carolina. You know, North Carolina took Republicans, right down the ticket.
Yep.
Trump, everybody was, until our governor. Our governor got kicked out. And of course we're going back to the bathrooms where the boys can go in there. This opens the door for pedophiles. This isn't what you were born as. It wasn't anything else. My daughters, I don't want them in there with pedophiles. And that's the real
But you know, Catherine, you know what's sad? I looked at the law and what it said. All they said, this is for you, me, and anybody. However you were born, that's the bathroom you go. That is not hateful. That is not ugly.
What's wrong with that?
That is not anything wrong with that. And they blew it out of proportion. And they got rid of the governor, and then they lost the NBA game, and they say all that's ludicrous. Because what they do, here's what the left does: they go after the money. When will the right? When will the right go after the money from them? When will we go after them and paying them?
If you remember, our attorney general in Washington said that if we didn't change that immediately, they were going to take away our federal funding for North Carolina. Okay. And they were all excited that the basketball teams were leaving, that businesses were leaving, PayPal left, everybody in Charlotte was leaving. But you know what? They spoke for a select few because people in North Carolina were furious over this law, furious on what they did, and they were proud of our governor. North Carolina was in shock when our governor lost. It's the first time, and I don't know if you've looked at the history, that a governor has lost his seat.
Yeah.
What happened? People in Louisiana, I'm telling you, wake up. Do not let this happen in your state. Don't let it happen. They use us as an scapegoat, and everybody else follows suit, and then all of a sudden they hold a group, we're going to take away your money.
Well, let me just say this. Jeff Landry, our governor, who didn't win, people got the wrong message, and they sent the Republican home. So he didn't win. He doesn't understand that. He'll understand that in 3 years. He's the one trying to put in legislation and contracts dealing with LGBTs. It doesn't need to be in there. Now, we've had 2 courts rejecting already. The governor saying, no, it's wrong. And Edwards keeps saying, no, that's not right, because he knows he's got to hold a base of these leftists in to try to win next time, but he can't win next time. So that's what's taking place.
But here's what's happening, okay? And thank goodness we're waking up, because we were asleep for a long time, and you know that.
Oh yeah,
America was asleep.
Matter of fact, I wish I was sleeping right now. But go ahead.
Yeah, me too. But we're waking up, and you know what? Go ahead and run into 2018. We're awake now, and we're not going back to sleep. Yeah. You know what? They forgot about the working man. They forgot about the working woman, and they concentrated on special groups, except the people who hold America together. That's who they forgot about.
Listen, I understand.
And it was all about special interest groups. And you know what? No. You know what? As far as the religious aspect, yes, I'm a Christian. God says He made man, He made woman. He didn't make anything in between, and God doesn't make mistakes. So that's my opinion as far as Christians goes. God doesn't make mistakes. But yes, leave it is boys go to boys' bathroom, girls go to girls' boys go to boys. But why do I want to worry about a pedophile coming into my granddaughters?
Look, I got
the door.
Hey, Catherine, I got a special need daughter that she goes with her daddy to ball games, and I got to go, and it's okay, baby. I'm gonna wait here, go to the bathroom, do this, wash your hands, and come on out. Well, every now and then she stays in there a little longer than I think. I got to grab some lady. Say, ma'am, I hate to ask you. I'll try to find somebody that's nice and say, would you do me a favor? I got my little daughter in there, and they go in there and check on her for me. Now, What happened if there's a guy on the other side he feels like a woman today? How am I supposed to go? I'll go running in it if I thought that. But I'm telling you what, there's a lot of people that believe like me. I'm not being ugly. I'm not being nasty. I'm not talking bad about anybody. But I'll be dang, I can't defend my daughter going in a restroom that shouldn't have a problem. Come on now. We got to wake up a little bit. I got to go, Catherine. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. All right, we've got to take a break. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline. By the way, Brandon Grayson Allen of Duke indefinitely suspended for tripping another player. And by the way, I like him a lot, but that's ludicrous what he's doing. You just don't do that stuff. Anyway, if you want to play soccer, nothing wrong with kicking. We'll take a break. Be right back. How y'all all? Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show, I think. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline if you'd like to be part of the program. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. People are going to always get their feelings hurt when you talk about certain issues. They think you're hating on them. I'm not hating on them. I'm just being honest about it. And you don't have a special need child, little girl that you got to send to the bathroom at a public event like a basketball or football game or someplace that I take my daughter, and I'm not going in the girl's bathroom. If I had to go in there because she was in trouble, I would. But this is so simple. And then what happens with the press and the left, they turn on you with hate, such hate. They don't want you to disagree with them. They think their way is the right way and everything else is wrong. It's why they got prayer out of schools. It's why they're trying to destroy the Christian culture. They don't want to feel guilty about nothing. And the best thing you can do to feel guilty about nothing is get rid of the Christian culture. Okay? Because Christian culture requires responsibility on your part, me included. And we all fall short. Okay? And they don't want that. We're going to do it our way and my way. And guess what? That has ruined more lives than anything I've ever seen. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline. By the way, had Stevie P on earlier. Me and Brandon and Stevie P just kind of bantered about with the football and the college football playoffs and about young kids like Fournette. Everybody knows him. Sitting out the last game, not wanting to play, worried about injuries. They interviewed Nick Saban. Not that he knows as much as Stevie P or me and Brandon put together, but, you know, the guy's an incredible guy, whether you like him or not, especially when it comes to his coaching. But he had a take on that too, Brandon. They interviewed him about all that that's going on. And by the way, listen closely what he says.
What would you say to a player that asked you to sit out the bowl game to protect his NFL career in the future?
Well, I mean, I don't answer hypothetical questions, so, you know, you're asking me a hypothetical question. But I will say this. I think when we created the playoff, which all you wanted to do, all right, and all you wanted to make it 4 teams, and now all you want to make it 8 teams, all right, and then pretty soon all you guys are going to want to make it 16 teams. And the only focus is on the playoffs. But when we all started this, however many years ago it was, I said that you're going to diminish the importance of other bowl games in college football, all right, which has happened. That has happened. All anybody talks about is the playoffs. All right, we have a whole bunch of other bowl games that, you know, people don't think are all that important. So if you don't think it's important, all of a sudden some players don't think it's important. So you can't really blame the players. You know, I mean, we created this. Okay, we created this. It used to be to go to the Rose Bowl was like when you played in the Big Ten, that was the ultimate of any experience that you could ever have. If you played in the SEC, going to the Sugar Bowl was that same thing. If you played in the Big 12, it was going to the Orange Bowl. All right, so those things don't exist anymore. All right, we have a playoff. Everybody's interested in the playoff. Nobody's interested in anything else. So now that that's trickled down to players, how can you blame the players for that? All right, I can't blame the players for that. I think what every player has to decide, and what I would say to every player, is I think every player probably benefits from playing really, really well. All right, so I think when you play in big games and you play really, really well, I think that enhances your value as a player. That's what I think. All right, now, every player would have to make the decision between, is that more important relative to protecting yourself? I think that's every player's choice, and that's every player's decision, and I don't know that there's much more to say about it than that.
Brandon, I'll let you join in with me too as well. Saban always, I watched Nick Saban for many years. He always takes up for the players. And that's smart. He always takes up for the players. That's smart because he people that play for him, I don't know how much they like playing for him. When they look back, they go, man, you know what? I learned a lot of football.
They got better.
They got better and probably as a human being too. But the bottom line is, so that's one thing about Saban. Number two is, he's right. College football's had so much success. And then they start doing things that may ruin their success. Yeah. And some of it's progress. But I just wonder if they're running their own success. Because here's what happens. If the bowl games don't mean nothing, and all these players start dropping out, and all of a sudden now you're not getting attendance, and then all of a sudden people aren't watching the games like they were too, all this TV money's going to go away too.
Oversaturation.
That's right. And it could go away pretty easy. And I'm telling you, those bowl games are about moolah. There's not anything else. It's about money. So if you got less attendance, less people watching it, they can charge less for advertisement. So Saban, we got more bowl games than we ever had because, people were demanding for it. They like for their teams to go. It's money. So my question to you is real simple. I mean, is college football going to do like most people? You get some success, and then you start trying to change what's made you successful.
Well, that's the amazing. Football has become so popular here in the U.S., both college and NFL, that it's gone to, booming heights. But you got the same people that are regulating both of them. You look at what's going on in the NFL right now. The ratings are starting to go down, down, down. And the people that are in charge of both of these entities are just getting too involved instead of just letting the product speak for itself.
Well, but it is oversaturated. I think football on Saturday was great, and Sunday football was great. Now it's Sunday, Thursday, Friday college games.
The Thursday
Saturday
games
college
are the
games,
stupidest idea.
Thursday pro, Monday pro, Sunday pro. The only days you don't have is Tuesday, Wednesday, but that's not true either because
college plays
they have
Wednesday
moved it
games.
on. Absolutely. Yeah. So the money's driving it. ESPN, ABC, all that's driving this, and it's not being driven by college sports. It's being driven by the moolah it makes. But it could take a turn for the worse. We'll see what happens. Anyway, God bless, folks. Have an awesome weekend, but I'm back tomorrow. Today's only Thursday. See, I fooled you too. We'll see you tomorrow. God bless. Interesting program tomorrow, I promise you. We'll see you then.